All right.
We are back.
We are back. And you guys just all got a free recovery roll based on the tribe's hospitality. And where you go from here is up to you, whether you want to explore, do downtime activities, free play. It's all up to you guys based on where you guys would like to go from here.
I think Nero would like to reduce some doom because we are one doom away from like another rider. And I think that the way that they would like to do that is that they are now like in this extremely terrifying place. Well, not terrifying, but like very unfamiliar and not something they've ever really seen before kind of place. And I think what they kind of want to do is maybe speak to people in the Raven tribe and like convince them that things are not so bad and that like the situation can be improved. And like I'm basically trying to say that I want to sway here, in order to kind of lift spirits and improve the morale of people. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Cool. I just took from the last session, I took influential. I provide a valuable service to the town and a welcome even in dangerous places. And I get an extra result level when I speak on behalf of a local community, acquire an asset, or reduce doom. So one way or another, this reducing doom thing should go okay. But let's see how okay. I'll just roll my sway as a fortune. Standard. Let's see how it goes. That's a 6, which is a crit.
Oh, dang.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean, apparently Nero is very convincing.
I'm going to go ahead and put the new ability here in the chat.
Nice.
Roll 20, so that way the audience can see as well.
And I'm highlighting the portion that is applying here. +1 result level. So that's good.
Yeah.
And you were just wanting to create a better situation for you guys here.
Reduce doom.
Yeah, I want to reduce doom. I want to basically like improve the morale so that like, because I think the way that Nero sees it, especially having just come back from the Burning Beyond, is that like it is the perception and the belief of the people here in like Mudwater that really influences the way that like the supernatural is going to come for it. And so, especially with something like the Raven tribe, who are much more kind of knowledgeable about Hellstone and knowledgeable about the situation, convincing them that we are going to be able to like do something will genuinely change the way that like they react to us. And by they, I mean like whatever supernatural horrors are out there.
I am going to write a note for us to address.
Okay.
A session with that.
Okay. I mean, if that logic doesn't make sense, that's absolutely fine. It's mostly
no. It makes perfect sense. I'm just wondering how best to integrate what my thoughts are regarding the crit with how Nero went ahead and accomplished that. I am thinking at absolute base because it is a crit. I am going to go ahead and right now I'm going to take them from a +1 to a +2 faction standing.
Yes, very good.
Excellent. We have use of the birds.
I have nothing to do with the birds. Kona is the only one that is aware of the birds. But the other aspect I will discuss at the end of session.
Cool. Yeah, makes sense.
If it helps, Kona would have said something as they were going into the lodge, kind of like to let everyone know that they're using some high tech here for what they're talking about, and probably just point and so you can see like the edge of the birds at least, or at least tell that they're somewhat mechanical, and it's just kind of like, oh, and then we all get ushered in to the sweat lodge. It's just like, oh, well, we're doing this now. I don't know. I think that's the way she's picturing it. And then I think because I'm not done recovering, I want to finish that. I don't want to get hurt.
All right.
Things getting worse. So, yeah, let's see. Recovery. Let's see for that. I guess, yeah, this is like spending extended time in the lodge, going back and like visiting the healer to get poultices and like herb pastes or whatever. And so we see that, and the scorpion stab hopefully getting better. And then I'll roll a healing roll. So with this is a fortune roll, right? So you tell me how many dice? Or...
This is going to be based on how you choose to do that. What we've already done, because this is a recovery roll, you have 2 dice to go ahead and roll for that. But for the rest of your downtime actions, if there was a particular action that you wish to do for that, or fits best, then you would tell me.
Okay, so action rolls can work there. Got it. We'll do the 2 since we're taking advantage of their help. Oh, that is really not that good.
Oh.
That
Yeah.
One tick is enough.
Yeah, I need another one. So,
okay.
Doesn't seem worth it. Oh, I have.
You do have coin on your sheet. You can go ahead and use coin to go ahead and just fill that clock.
yeah, I think she'll do that. But that's like I lose a coin as I like in town. I picked up some additional, like healing items, and she like busts those out in the process to finish the clock off. She's like it's still tender, I think is what we see. Like there's like a spot on her thigh where she got stabbed, and she's like, oh, it's still tender, it still hurts. Is this gonna heal up all right? And they're like, and she's like, oh, just use this. And then
I just kind of like look at you a little oddly, sign to each other a little bit, and then the one translates. We can, though it will heal. Is it the pain that's discomforting? We can fix pain. Physical or metaphysical?
she's definitely I think Kona is, she's honest. She just says it's a little of both, to be honest. And
We promise and not snake oil.
so then she looks sort of relieved, and then she accepts the rest of their recovery help. And I think there's a part where she's like, but please just use this. And so she hands them over like the extra stuff.
They'll go ahead and accept it and kind of apply it. Kind of like just shaking their head of like strange, weird, medicinal, components as they apply it.
Yeah, and then I think she's going to inquire about, the shaman when they're best approachable, and that's probably where she'll be doing her next downtime. But I'll wait for another player to take one, I think.
I would say that you guys do have a little bit of time before a meal is served.
Okay. Well, I mean, I might as well do it, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, so Kona goes to approach the shaman, to whoever's the most knowledgeable about spiritual matters, and I guess she's going to ask someone to go with her to be a translator, right? Because we're not speaking the same language.
And the shaman has been speaking the same language as you. It just seems like some of the others are not speaking the same language as you.
Understood. Okay, so she goes to the shaman alone, and she's gonna say, Shaman, do you speak to the spirits as my kind shaman do?
They are spoken to, yes, but mostly we listen.
And she's like, surely I can find out something from you about my people then. Perhaps the spirits speak to yours differently as they do mine. And she's gonna pull out the pistol, and I think this is me trying to say I want to work on like a project if it's needed, or maybe it's just an in-character thing. I don't know, but that's more up to you. But I think what she just wants to know is like, she's like, what can you tell me about this? And she hands the pistol over, and it's the pistol that was used to kill her brother, which she found after. It's the pistol she's been carrying around as well, that she's been kind of loathful to use. She doesn't want to actually use it because she thinks that it may be Hellstone infused or something. She's had a suspicion of that, but she hasn't been able to confirm it. So this is kind of like, if there is a project to be had, she wants to work on it. If not, she wants to like attune with the thing, with the shaman there to help her.
Yeah, let's give me 1 second.
Yeah, this may be a cursed pistol. I think Saint Garden Chat is saying something kind of right there. It may be cursed.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe up to the roll. I don't know. Like, maybe you don't know. Because I'm
It
just
was
kind
my
of
gun all along.
I am going to say that there is some risk with this roll.
Okay, fair enough.
And you have not reduced your grit yet.
Right. So this isn't not a downtime activity then. It's not going to cost me one to work on that.
No. I would say if this is definitely moving on something like a long-term project or something like that, we can make that roll.
Oh, well, if it's a
Or
long-term project,
I can actually, I could just add a quick clock for that.
Yeah, if it's not a long-term project, then I would spend a downtime for grit later. But that's cool. I won't have one for grit. That's fine. She's really interested in pursuing this. She'll take a trauma to find out the truth. She's already taken one.
There you go.
All right, then go ahead and make me a roll. The starting position and effect with this would probably be risky limited.
Okay.
With the shaman there to help assist you, I would say that is going to move up your effect to great.
So we're looking at risky great. And I mean, it's important to her. I'm thinking about pushing, unless you got a deal for me, some kind of negative thing. This is like an action roll, right? This is not the downtime activity roll yet?
Correct.
Yeah.
You know what? I have a devil's bargain for you.
Okay. I'm mostly in. I only got 3 grit.
You are
should do it.
You are going to see the moment it killed your brother.
Ouch. In a way, she kind of wants that, but she doesn't want to see it in a bad way. So this is like a bad way, right?
That is up to your interpretation.
I mean, it wouldn't be a deal, I guess, if it's not bad. So we're just going to go ahead and take it.
You cannot make that up!
Oh my god.
Hold on, I did.
Oh my god.
I did not see the roll. Give me a second. My roll 20 crashed.
Well, I mean, that is nuts. That is complete bonkers.
I think it's a sign. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, 3 sixes.
Sign.
Come on.
Oh.
Like, has Kona summoned the devil himself, or has Kona summoned the devil himself?
Yeah. So we need a new world beyond crit. So,
Kona,
super crit.
The crit of the
That's
beast.
that.
Kona, you kneel there, and there is a room and whatnot that you were there with the shaman, and he just kind of helps you focus, not necessarily a trance, but a almost like a meditation, a joined meditation, and you hold the pistol and you kind of breathe in and out, and you actually, he kind of like, you're kneeling and he kind of like stands behind you and then kind of like leans around, the wings essentially of his cloak coming around as he puts his hands over the top of yours, and then the pistol goes up like this, and as you inhale the gun smoke, the vision of it being fired ricochets within your mind. The muzzle flash, the sound, the striking of the back of the bullet. You can see it within the chamber itself. It spark goes ahead and causes an explosion of a combustion, causing the bullet to fly out. As you see your brother standing there, his eyes looking off somewhere else, almost as if hearing his name being called. You can't tell if it's your voice or somebody else's, but you call his name. You hear yourself calling his name, and he turns, and that's when it lands square in the forehead. His eyes looking up towards the stars or towards the sky, and silence. The smell of gun smoke and the crackling of some sort of power presence. And then you see it. You didn't see it the first time that you envisioned this being done, but now you see it. You hear that crackling, that expression, that loss of volume within his lungs as he gives up his life, gives up his air. And with that little wisp, you almost see his spirit, his soul, being drawn back along the path of the bullet. The scream, the moment of death, the moment before death, the cry, the gunshot, the powder, the smell, the expression of this moment all being encapsulated and back into the pistol that you hold yourself. You are brought back into the present, dropping the pistol
Yeah, I drop it.
and
Oh yeah.
and just shaking.
So
You feel as if an aspect, not his whole, but maybe an aspect of his soul or spirit almost got locked behind a massive gate. You hear a pounding of his soul banging against an immeasurable barrier, trapped. And you realize he is on the other side of hell.
and the key to getting him out is Hellstone.
The key to getting him out is breaking the gate.
Ooh. Yeah, she's trembling, her eyes are closed. She's let go of the gun. She like kind of like opens one eye weakly to look at the shaman. And she turns away. She's like, "That's enough. That's enough. I don't need to see anymore. And I think there's some definitive like knowledge that it's not her brother in this gun. It's not her. There's not like a spirit in this gun. It's just that the memory is like around it, and she like kind of, I think in part of her wants to let go of it. So I think she says, "You must keep it. Keep the pistol." She says, "Sell it to pay for services or something, whatever you need." And she waits the shaman's reply.
You'll notice during this attunement that as it kind of ends and you're kind of having this moment of clarity, that the shaman is more raven than human during this attunement. And as he responds to you, he goes back into more of a human, wearing the cape of a raven. The fingers being visible at the edges of the cloak, not just feathers. There is no beak. There is no dark black obsidian eyes. It is just him. You're not sure if that was simply because of your attunement in the moment. You're not sure if it was because of the ritual, but that there is that happens.
Right. And so one of the main objectives after what she was after was to find out if her brother's killer was a member of the tribe. So in the vision, I'm imagining she got some kind of indication of that. She's always suspected it was, but I think truly it was like probably like a hell beast or someone taken over by the Hellstone or something like that was my idea behind what was happening when the gun was fired against him. But it sounded like you almost made it sound like he killed himself or something. So I'm curious.
You don't see a person.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Holding the with a crit as you did, I will say that you do see something. But it is let me see here. How's a good way to express this?
Like, I'm cool with it being like some kind of a demon or something that did it, because I think it was like she was angry at her people, and then now I want her to kind of realize that, oh, she doesn't need to be angry at them. The true enemy is
I
whatever.
don't think it's necessarily I'm trying to figure out a way to express it. You see a hand on the butt of the pistol, but there is an oddness to how the fingers hold the gun.
Right, not very human-like or whatever.
They're elongated. They are serpentine and wrapped around the gun.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
There's almost a mechanical nature to an aspect of it, but you're not 100% sure. But you know whatever it was not human. Or it was not human, but it wasn't unworldly, yet it was kind of both. It's just so hard to tell because the moment of the ritual and the scene was so fast, you know? You're kind of almost second guessing yourself.
Yeah. And so if she's second guessing herself, I think she also second guesses leaving the pistol behind. And she says, "Change my mind." Grabs the pistol, and she throws down some small pittance of coins or something, just kind of like, "Is this how you do this here?" And she also includes like a piece of natural organic matter or something, some flour as well, and gives it to the shaman. And she's like, "Might want to hide that." And just kind of gives him like a knowing look.
His hand reaches down almost as if like talons and plucks the flower up itself and then puts it into his cape. This is payment enough. You keep the rest.
Yeah, I think she lets out like a shaking kind of like, okay, and then just like steps back slowly and then turns and like faces the outside world again. Leaves the whatever room we were in or tent. And yeah, there's like this look of like she just made a decision that she had to change. She just changed paths, right? It's kind of like almost like the train tracks have been shifted over. Somebody just pulled the lever and walked away. So that's kind of what's going on with her. I'll pass it on to someone else.
What are the rest of you doing?
So I think Munroe wakes up the next morning and he's completely lucid and he's clean, shaven, and he looks around and for a moment he kind of forgets or sees and he's just really, really shaken. But I think the first thing he would do is rifle through his stuff, and as he goes through his stuff, he would notice the black charred skin-like journal from before, which from what he remembers sort of like a record of his predecessors, but sort of not. Anyway, so he's definitely going to look at that. And I think this would be in a tune, maybe?
Go for it.
Okay. I'm not going to push myself.
Oh wow, you can attune well. Holy.
If like you don't have to, but I feel like I could give you an assist die here. If like when you wake up and you see Nero, I think Nero is like as you kind of look through the journal, Nero will like sit next to you like quite calmly and kind of put like one of their hands on your shoulder as you try and like deal with this.
Nah, I think he's gonna be Monroe's gonna be by himself.
Yeah.
Like he'd be totally
fair.
Yeah. So am I risky, controlled, desperate, or
This is part of your downtime.
yeah?
Is
so
it
I'm
not?
Yep.
It would be a fortune.
Okay. Right. Fortune. Boom.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh.
Maybe you should have taken that bonus down. Yikes.
A 2. Oh.
You first thing you notice, and it's pretty odd, but this entire journal is all in your handwriting.
That's pretty weird.
Ooh.
And it almost starts out like a journal, like a diary, you know, because Charles Munroe would definitely have a diary. Rode into town, met Aunt Paul. Something happened. Aunt Polly was given the job of sheriff, and then that's essentially how it starts. Very deja vu. Pretty much like you've done this before. Or have you? And you keep reading and whatnot, and it's just all these entries of stuff. You do come across several drawings, and several schematics of things, which you, based on that role, you don't exactly connect the dots in between of what this is, what is actually written. It's more of a, why did I write this? Is this me? Was I dead back in that cave? Like and like all these, you get caught up in the minutia essentially of the stories and tales that a man of your caliber would definitely write in a personal diary.
Oh, Munroe, falling in love with his own diary. He's savage here. Also, I was like thinking when you were saying schematics, I was like, oh, thanks, future Munroe. You left the bazooka for me. But yeah, that's okay. I think, I mean, the only logical thing for Munroe to do right now is he's just too fascinated. He has to keep reading. He's going to spend his second downtime doing it.
All right,
Not healing.
Hey, reading about himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting any better, huh?
There's nothing more.
reading a diary as if it's a romance novel.
I got 2 threes.
Oh my god. Like,
This
really
guy.
giving ghost written a very different meaning, I think.
What does it
Oh
mean?
my goodness. Whew,
Well, this
this
kinda went
is so
better.
beautiful. Oh wow. Yeah, it's just, I mean, whoever this version of you was definitely a man of certain talents, and you kind of admire him.
Can
But
I
you
say-
kind of expect the same thing because, like, well, this is me.
Well, can I just say then that he sees the events of last night when he got really drunk and blasted and wasted, and it's just like perfect. He doesn't recall writing it. Yeah. And
It's almost, you don't know where previous Charles left off and you began.
yeah.
I will say, based on the 3, that you do see one particular part that does pique your interest, like that needs to be looked into. And it's simply a location.
Cool.
And it is simply marked down as like a little side note or a little reference in the diary, kind of like written in one of the margins of the humming hole.
Cool. I have a location. And also, I'm thoroughly. So I think he also holds his wound kind of and winces while he continues reading because he's an idiot and didn't fully heal himself. Oh no, trees. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. And that is me. Or Charles, rather. I mean, Munroe. I mean.
All of the above.
All this great stuff. Yes, Ezra wants to extend the recovery, and he did that by what he's trying to do. And I think I want to bring in a contact of mine too. He just wants to delve into society, this tribe, this big society again, reminding him that this, in all those years and decades in the Burning Beyond. Maybe we know now for sure that he spent a long time in the Burning Beyond, and all these moments he told himself and his brother Paul, who was with him there, that they will come back, that they will make it back. And so for him, it's what he desired most when he was trapped in the Burning Beyond, to be among people. Maybe not so much people, but you can't be picky. So he wants to recover here.
Of course.
The contact I want to bring in is small fox hunting, a tribesman, which may be I think is part of the Thunder Raven tribe.
Ooh.
Yeah, you kind of recognize him.
Yeah, maybe he's
as
wandering
he-
around a bit lost, and then
as he brings you a set of new clothes from you guys bathing and getting cleansed. He just kind of like goes to hand you your clothes, and then just kind of like stops and looks up at you. And then just nods almost in understanding and hands you your clothes. And then it seems almost as if he helps you specifically through the rest of the healing and whatnot and recovery.
Yeah, maybe it's just a small moment when he hands over the clothes. I take his hand and squeeze it for a short time, just seeing eye to eye with him and nodding and saying, I made it back. And this is something precious you have here. So that's another recovery for me. Again, the question, are these 2 dice for the
Yes.
healing? Or, okay.
Also, if you want, because you only have 1 tick left, you can say that that's fictional standing for using a coin if you wish, or you can go ahead and make the roll. It is up to you. Because you do have coin on your sheet right now.
Yeah, I think I make the roll.
Go for it.
Okay. Yep, 5.
Excellent.
So I recovered from my sense of loneliness because of Paul and the mark from the Black Rider. Maybe this is a bit more. Yeah, okay. If I may, I would just take my second action, which is I want to start as a long-term project, which is actually bringing Paul back. So I don't know if this is possible. Maybe it's more figuring out if it's possible to have Paul back, or if it's just the Black Rider forever in my head. So what the possibilities here?
How would Ezra go about finding out if he can bring Paul back?
Yeah, I think from this recovery, what he managed is to almost feel as part of this community. And what comes with it is that he's more isolated from the outside of this community. And so therefore a bit cut off from this, the voice of the Black Rider in his head. And what he's trying to do is talk with someone about it, or attune with someone, or help attuning. Maybe he's attuning alone. I don't know if someone's joining in, not from the tribe, to help him with this question.
I would almost say it's another shaman scenario like Kona.
Mm-hmm.
But he is not the only one in the room. It is also you see him essentially as you sit there and you go to do this. You see the shaman on one side, and you see the Black Rider on the other.
Ooh. Okay. So maybe what I'm trying is to figure out. Yeah, it's hard
Go
to say.
ahead and make me a fortune roll.
Okay. So with a tune.
If that is how Ezra is going about this, then yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, too many. Where's my dialogue there? A 4.
You gain assistance from multiple places. You gain assistance from the shaman, and you also gain assistance from the Black Rider. The expression of your brother. How do you view him?
Yes, Paul and I, we came from a frontier town. So, and we were young, and we were hunting together if we had free time at our hands. So Paul, and what becomes clear now is that we went over to the Burning Beyond pretty young. Maybe he was my elder brother, of course, pushing me around and bullying me a little bit. Maybe he was 18 years old and I was 16. And yeah, we had our best hunting clothing on. And when we somehow found near a crossroad the possibility to go over into the Burning Beyond, because we wanted to find some. We wanted to hunt mystic beast to bring it back to our dead. So when I see Paul, he's still pretty young.
This expression of your brother. Now, the time you spent in the Burning Beyond has definitely impacted your ability to remember certain things. Every time you see Paul or hear Paul, it is always usually as a memory, but slightly twisted. This expression of Paul, it's almost as if he didn't want to leave the Burning Beyond. He didn't want to return.
Okay.
And it's almost as if, like, he's trapped there because of you.
Well, the Hellstone will fuck with you, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
But you still see his young face. As if you guys are in the midst of hunting.
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder by the second. So in the first moment, I thought I saw him as I remembered him as a young boy, but it's harder and harder, and he's fading away a bit. And transforming into something else, maybe a creature of the Burning Beyond, or into the Black Rider. I don't know.
I would say he shifts into the Black Rider. It is no longer a silhouette of a child or the
Yeah.
brother that you knew, but it is the Black Rider. It's the man.
Okay.
The devil's bargain permeating even the memories of your brother long dead.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what Ezra makes of it. If he's shocked in the moment, but have to live with it for some time to decide what's the consequence of all this. Okay.
I will have to say, I can't necessarily explain it, but based on the 4, you do see a shift in the shaman himself as this ritual meditation ends. He is pure white underneath that cloak, even if for a brief second.
Like the skin's white? Or no skin, it's just
Everything.
pure, like...
Pure white.
Okay. I look at
It's almost as if the cloak that he is wearing is keeping whatever brightness dark and mundane. But it's like you look at it and you're like, wait, what was that? And it's the shaman.
Okay.
But I saw like a black bird person, right?
You saw a raven, yes.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about that later, I know.
Yeah, I pretend that I did not recognize this. Just keeping it to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think I will talk with Kona about this later, and Nero as well.
And I say with that, as this comes to an end, we're coming up on our second break, and then we'll come right back.
Great.
Cool. Yeah, so we'll run about 10 minutes and then we'll be right back. Cool. Stay tuned, people.